been on the program a number of times before. Voice of the Edmonton Oilers on the radio side of things, Cam Moon. Cam, first off, thanks for joining us. Have you ever been to the Black Hills?
The Black Hills. I don't think I've been to the I think I want to go to the Black Hills.
Mount Rushmore. And then we're talking Crazy Horse, the new sculpture that won't be done anytime soon. Does that ring a bell at all?
No, I have not done that yet. Not yet.
Okay.
But I did hear you were taking suggestions of rider road trips. You were getting some love there for Vancouver, which is totally understandable. They got the ocean, the mountains. It's lovely. I don't discount Edmonton. I mean, don't rule it out. And granted, you got to know where you're going and what you're doing. And I could certainly lead a tour in that regard and make sure that people saw all the things that you need to see when you're doing a road trip. But the fact that I didn't hear a Montreal in there, and maybe it was earlier, that's blowing my mind.
It was earlier, and that's my pick. Montreal is my pick. When you talk about Edmonton, though, I must ask, is Cook County Saloon still open?
Yes, it is thriving at this point in time, yes.
It's moving up.
That's not... Yeah, it's okay. The Cook County still exists. Not my scene. That's not my scene. But would I be willing to go? Like, you were there and needed guidance? Yes, I would, because that's the kind of guy I am. I'd be willing to do that for you.
Okay. I'm going to hold you to that. Let's keep this clip and next time I roll into Edmonton. Connor Murphy, you hear about the move. The Oilers pick him up, right shot defenseman, which is so key. What can you tell our listeners, maybe, Cam, that we don't know why this was a good move strategically that Bowman pulled here?
Well, they're lacking a right shot D, and Jake Wallman has recently been playing on his offside, and the Oilers have had struggles defensively, not just the defenseman, I mean the whole team defensively, but with an opportunity to add a big, strong, physical defenseman, a veteran that has a right shot, it hit all the criteria and at a minimal cost. And the fact that Chicago's eating half that salary made it doable. Otherwise, Edmonton wouldn't be able to do it to fit it under the cap. So it made a lot of sense from the Edmonton side to do this, given the struggles that they've had. So it gives you three right shot defensemen now. A guy that he's played playoff games, but there was nobody in the stands because the only playoff games he's had were during the weird bubble time. So he has an opportunity, if things go right, that the Edmonton Oilers would be in the playoffs. And he is extremely, fired up about that, as he should be. Playoff games in Edmonton are special. So to me, it made a lot of sense given where the team's at and what he brings to the party.
Stan Bowman yesterday, I think we played part of it here. He comes out and he's asked one question, and I know you've been to a lot of press conferences, and right away I find when one question is asked and a coach or GM takes it for about 4 minutes, they've been waiting. They've been waiting to get all this off their chest. I've always loved that when it happens. He talks about it, and he really breaks it down yesterday, how the Oilers, they can run and gun and they can score and all that. They got to get back to simplicity in the hockey. And there are going to be periods, there are going to be games where you might not score. But the good thing is the other team didn't as well.
So true, and especially in the postseason. That run and gun, it happens once in a while in the playoffs, but it's definitely not the norm. You got to be able to defend. And when I think back of the last two seasons, when the Oilers have had long streaks of winning, their defending during those streaks was at an elite level. I mean, the scoring is going to be what the scoring is. When you have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and especially when you go on the power, and Evan Bouchard, don't forget him, because this guy is on an immense heater right now. But when you have those players, you're going to get your opportunities, and more often than not, you're probably going to score goals. Yeah, there's going to be games where it just doesn't happen for you, or the opposition goalie is having himself a great night. But you got to be able to defend, and even more so when you get to the postseason and you're playing against better teams like all the time. So it's an important part of the game. It has been intermittent, I would say, this year. There's been times where it's been all right, but there's been stretches where it hasn't been great. And I think of right before the Olympic break, and I think of right after the Olympic break, with the exception of the Los Angeles game, which was part Edmonton playing well and part LA playing incredibly bad. So, yeah, that part needs to tighten up. I mean, they found a way to get it done last night, but not a recipe for success to be down 4-2 after 2 periods. So, yeah, we'll see what, Connor Murphy, I would expect him to play Friday against Carolina.
I hit the in-game bet, by the way. I took the Oilers when they were down, and I was like...
Oh, whoa, that's a pull. The great ones make it look easy. That's what they say.
You hear about the wins, not about the losses. Let's put it that way.
It wasn't a huge bet, Cameron. Let me tell you that. Sorry, Greg, go ahead.
Obviously, this is not the season the Oilers are expecting to have after back-to-back Stanley Cup bursts. Are they moving during this upcoming deadline, or are they just going to... We got the guys we need in the locker room?
Jordan Binnington.
I don't think there's going to be a goaltender move. I really don't. Huh? Do I think they will exhaust every avenue for a third-line center? Yes, I do. I think that is the most likely target at some point here. So, yeah, I mean, between now and Friday afternoon, I would think that every avenue for that would be the highest priority. I think the defenseman was the highest priority, but they got that done now. And I would think a third-line center. I don't know who that's going to be, if at all, but I think that's what they're looking at.
I heard a Braden Shen rumor as well. Is that going around those parts?
Well, he could play third-line C. Hey,
Who do you got to dump?
I've heard
who do you got to dump there then, man? Mangiapane?
Well, and that's the thing. You had the... got sent down, and then you're going to try to. I would think they would try to move that contract out if at all possible. So that's probably part of the whole thing too. And I don't know. I've heard the name Braden Shen thrown out there, but I've heard a bunch of names thrown out there. We'll see what happens.
What about the other Canadian teams, and you get to watch a lot of hockey with eyeballs, or maybe let's stick with the West. What's a team that maybe we're not talking about enough? Is it Minnesota? I haven't seen them play live. I don't know. What's a team we're not maybe talking about enough that you could say, well, maybe they add a piece, or maybe they don't even add a piece. This team could be scary in the postseason.
Well, I think Minnesota is a team that's scary in the postseason, but so is Dallas. So is Colorado, and one of those 3 teams is going to be out in the first round, and 2 of those teams will probably be out after 2 rounds. So it makes it really tough. I mean, but any one of those 3 could come out of that division. It's that close. Minnesota hasn't had the start that Colorado had, or the start that Dallas had, and has flown under the radar a little bit. But they have been just incredible. And Quinn Hughes on the back end, and the amount of scoring they have, the way they defend, and they've been incredibly impressive. I mean, the Pacific Division has struggled, and now you look at the way things played out last night. All it has done is muddied it up even more as far as who's going to finish in the top of this thing. It could be 3 or 4 different teams. So. But yeah, to me, Minnesota is a team that is going to be an incredible handful for somebody.
If Edmonton does make the playoffs, who do you think is their best matchup going in? Because obviously they're not going to be a high seed this year.
Yeah, well, but the thing is, you could win the division.
Yeah,
it's that close. Like you could finish first in the Pacific, and then you're playing a wild card team, whoever that may be. So. I don't know who the best. they're probably not going to play Los Angeles finally. I mean, 4 years in a row I think that's enough. Yeah. And I'm
reminds
sure
me of the
fans
days when they kept on drawing the stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Remember, it was always, it's the Oilers and the Dallas Stars. I think the fans would like to see somebody different. I'm sure LA would like to see somebody different. They'd just like to get in. I'm not sure they will. They're still within striking distance, but that has to turn around there really soon. But Anaheim, we were just in Anaheim, and they looked pretty good. And that's a team that's on the rise, and they got young players. I mean, San Jose's on the rise too with a lot of young players. I think they're a little farther behind Anaheim in their development curve. But to me, Anaheim is a team that you could see it coming late last season, and it's continued on. And they're going to be a tough out. And Vegas is, it's still got a really good team. I know they've had their struggles here lately, but that's a talented lineup. And Edmonton will see them on Sunday. So you have a better idea after that.
Last one for you, Mooner. The goaltending situation. If the playoffs were going to start, a lot of people are talking. Is it going to be Ingram's net to roll with to start? Is that what you see? And as a former goaltender,
well, yeah. If it was starting today, to me it would be Connor Ingram, because in the most recent past here, I think he's been the better of the two. But there's still another 20 games or so to go, and that will determine it, I would think. But Connor Ingram, I think, has been a little more consistent than Tristan Jarry to this point. But to me, I think that is still completely up for grabs. But the Oilers do need one of those two or two of those two to get on a roll and get things going. I mean, last year, the Oilers needed two goaltenders, and Calvin Pickard was huge for the team to keep them moving and getting them to a Stanley Cup final. Calvin Pickard 2 years ago had to come up with a big win against the Vancouver Canucks in the second round to keep the season going. So the chances are you're going to need both of them, but they both, just like the whole team, part of it would be if you defend better, your goalies are going to look better.
Yeah.
If you hang them out to dry all the time, well, you can only expect so much. I think if the team tightens things up defensively, where all of a sudden we're going to be going, wow, those goalies look pretty good. So I can see that happening.
April 17th at Cook County Saloon for the Love of 90s Country Tour. Aaron Pritchett, Bobby Wills, Clayton Bellamy, the Johnner Brothers, and Tim Hicks. I might have to buy you a couple rums if I'm in town, and we'll go to that.
Well, to get me to go to country music, yes, I'm going to need those before we get there, by the way. It's not my bag, baby.
Okay, Mooner, let's do this again soon. Very curious what happens in the next couple of days here, and then obviously in the coming weeks with the Oilers. Thanks for doing this, bud.
Sounds like a plan. Hey, Riders in Montreal. That's what you want.
We could have some rums there too. October 12th. You'll be. Too bad it's not in the summer. There he is, voice of the Edmonton Oilers on the radio side, Cam Moon, also former Saskatoon Blade, Medicine Hat Tiger, and Nipawin Hawk. We're up against the clock here. We'll go to break. It's a Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.